Another Saturday night. Welcome to the reading of the Christ letters. We've been reading these letters for a while because over a year now. So we're on letter 7, and it's the final chapter. It's the final chapter, and it's every night, every weekend, every Saturday night. It has been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Learning about Christ's ministry, the truth about Christ's earthly ministry. This is what the Christ letters are about. And tonight will be no exception. We'll be talking about who we are. As you see the topic, we were created to never be in lack, never sick. Yeah. And the reason why we are is pretty simple. So without no further ado, we'll go into the Christ letters. Let's go into the Christ letters tonight. And last week was very, very powerful. If you could go back, if you haven't seen it, it's all about the church. It's all about the church. And I try to get little clips and post it, and hopefully people will see it and wonder what this Christ letters are about. Christ is insisting that the church doesn't represent his true ministry, what his true teaching when he was on when he was on earth. A lot of it, as he states, is based on his disciples' recollection. And remember too that the disciples were also intimidated by the Jewish leaders because guess what? They crucified their savior, so they were scared to be crucified. So it's a hodgepodge. He's not saying all of it is totally not what he taught about. We have to what they say if we have to dive through it, use our discernment, use our knowledge and understanding, and ask Christ Himself to come and ask Christ Himself for discernment and teaching. And something too, I totally forgot this week until today, when He says one of His time here on earth, it seems as if every generation has a Christ as a Christ figure, because we're going back in its history and we're seeing Quetzalcoatl, we're seeing um, John, Prester John. It seems as those people also were some form of Christ, because we've been living under a deception, not knowing who we are and not knowing the reason why we come to earth, why are we here. Does anyone ever ask that question? Why are we here? Why did we come to this earth? All right. So yeah, so we're gonna go into it tonight and get some understanding of the last chapter of the Christ letters and what our Christ wants us to know who we are. Who we are. Oh, when the Bible said we're beautifully and wonderfully made, we don't have to look outside ourselves for anything. This temple is the temple of the Most High God. I would love to hear a ministry preached on that. Because this is the temple of the Most High God. All right, so here we begin. So, yeah, and we're on letter 7, and we're starting, I'm not sure what page. Oh, 286, page 286. All right. And these are the Christ letters, and there's a copy of it available online. And these letters were these are Christ's exact words. These are Christ's exact words. And I go over it all the time. If you want to understand the Christ letters, please Google it or watch one of my previous videos. I don't want to feel like going through. We're on letter 7, and you have to read them to get your own understanding. I read them and I feel the energy that these are Christ's exact words, and I choose to read them on my platform. So here we are. We're on letter 7. Okay. It is a matter of extreme urgency that people worldwide should recognize that the truth is you have been born to individualize and express the universal, the source of your being, in an evolutionary manner, eventually reaching peak individualized and manifestation of your source of being, Christ consciousness. This summarizes why we're here and who we are. This one paragraph right here summarizes who we are and why we came to earth. So, the truth, rightly, the Bible tells us, rightly dividing the word of truth. What is the truth? The truth is we are individualization of the source of our being, of, oh, you want to say father, mother. I say father, mother. You want to say God, you want to say Jehovah, yeah, whoever you call the source of your being. We are the individualized form of that person. We are expressing that person with our individuality. And how do we express? Yeah, we are these powerful beings, and we came here in our in a fleshy form, and we totally don't remember who we are. And this is how the evolution starts. We have to start coming to the knowledge of who we are. This physicality, this materialistic, this ego has to go. So the God that we are, the Christ consciousness that we are, can come forward and we live the heaven on earth lifestyle. This is the truth. When you talk about it, this is the truth. Our ultimate goal is to live as gods here on earth, as the God we are here on earth. That's truth. And we see Christ consciousness here. This is the return of the Christ the Bible talk about. Not someone coming from the sky. No, not someone coming from the sky and opening the sky and whatever. This is the Christ consciousness. God didn't need anyone to die for us because he knew this time would come where he's sending more energy so that this materialistic world may diminish, this ego may diminish, this flesh will be subdued. We're energy beings, energy, vibration, and frequency. So this is why this paragraph summarizes who we are, the truth of who we are. Okay, let me highlight it. And I'll read it one more time. It is a matter of extreme urgency that people worldwide should recognize that the truth is you have been born to individualize. So some people use the word, I don't like to pause in the paragraph, but the word fractionalized, that God fractionalized himself and created us. That's who we are. So there's no separation. You can't say your brother is not God, your child is not God. There's no separation. You and God, it's the same thing. If you're looking for God somewhere else, something's wrong. It's you. Look in the mirror. You want to know who God is? Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. And this is the deception. This knowledge should have you asking, oh my gosh, why was it necessary for them to take us out of our divinity? Not at me. A lot of people, um they blame the messenger. They're blaming the messenger. Don't blame me. I don't know what I did in my past life, why my ministry is playing a part to wake everyone up. Hey, my sister, yeah, we are all one. There's no separation. Nothing. Oh God, look in the mirror. You can't say here. I heard Morgan Freeman to put it so carefully. So put it so beautifully. Someone asked him, "Do you believe in God?" Of course. Did you think God somewhere up there is like, you can't differentiate. I am him. You are him. You are God's. You are that God you're looking outside of. You're not going to find him anywhere else. Nowhere else. You're praying to yourself. Whether you want to listen, and this is what I like about this. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. This is what I like about it. You don't have to believe what I'm saying because that's the truth. That's the truth. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. And this is about this consciousness. We're not going to beat anyone upside the head to get this knowledge. You have to. You have to, whether this life or the next. You have to come to this knowledge. There's no, as Reverend Ike says, there's no God in the sky, there's no pie in the sky. I saw in my dream, there's nothing in the sky. It's just, it's like a screen up there. Don't look up there for anything. That's what they taught us. Look up there. No, there's nothing up there. Those clouds are just whatever. Go within and everything will reveal to you. It doesn't matter if you believe. When you pray to yourself. When you worship yourself. Whatever you're looking for, you're looking, as I go deeper in this message, you'll see you're looking for your higher self, for you to be vibrating at the right frequency so that whatever you need come to you. Read Darius Kennan, the universe is always yes, you are God's. It's all whatever you want, it's always gonna be yes, but you have to match the frequency of whatever you want. So while you're waiting for your healing, you're being a better person, you're living a good life, you're trying to overcome your karma. While you wait for your car, while you wait for your house, while you wait for that big paycheck, you have to vibrate at that frequency. And the longer it takes for you to be vibrating at the right frequency, it's the longer you take to get your blessing. It's not the devil, it's you. We don't have the responsibility to blame anyone for anything. It's us. If I'm waiting for my big fat check and I can't find it, go within. What Father, Mother, divine life, Christ consciousness. What next I need to work on? So show me. Talk to them like how you talk to yourself. Are you still holding grudges? Huh? Are you still looking outside yourself? Are you still distracted? Are you still materialistic? Are you still egotistical? You are stopping the blessing from coming. So it doesn't matter if you pray 10 times for it to come, you have to match the frequency. It doesn't matter what your word said. Well, Father, I'm good now. No, your energy has to match. It's authentic. This universe is authentic. You can't slide underneath it. The Bible tells you plainly, you reap what you sow. If you're not getting what you want, you look in yourself. If you are abundance, if you're healing, you have no one to thank but yourself because you did the work. You did the work, and the universe, your higher self, your soul. People, we use a lot of terminology. It's Christ consciousness, it's universal consciousness, it's divine consciousness. It's the same grand ocean that Father, Mother God is in equilibrium. Everything comes from that. There is no separation. All right. This is just so good. This paragraph right here is just so good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And since that's what the God you're looking for is within yourself, we all have to come to that knowledge. It doesn't matter if you hear this ministry, you'll be like, people are binding me up and binding and binding and binding. Listen, it doesn't matter what you bind. It doesn't affect me. You're binding yourself. I am my own universe. Anything affect me is what I take from out there and bring it in. You're binding yourself because this is the truth, as the Christ letter says. There's no other truth. And if you die and you don't understand this, as we read before, there's two choice. Either you come back and redo it, if you don't let them trick you and come back before you meet your divine soul, or whatever, and or you go over what you didn't learn here with your higher self. Just imagine you walk into after your death afterlife and be like, your soul be like, really, Jane? Really? You really went to earth and think that this is you, who you are? That you're that physical flesh and blood person, that's all you are, and you have to depend on everybody else? Really, Jane? You know? You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I heard it on Deep Ministry and I thought she was smoking something, you know? I don't think we forget what we've what we do here when we pass. I really don't. Okay. All right, let me go on. All right. So it is a matter of extreme urgency that people worldwide recognize that the truth is you have been born to individualize and express individualized our individuality. Our ego give us that individuality and express. We're here to express the universal, the source of your being. We're here. Don't everyone you see, they are gods. Everyone are gods. The source of your being. In an evolutionary manner, we have to evolve. We have to evolve, eventually reaching peak. Keep evolving more and more, finding the God within, reaching peak individualized manifestation. Individualized manifestation. Now you're manifesting the God you are. That's why we're here. The goal is to keep evolving, and if we're not supposed to be in the same place year after year, 10 years, 20 years, same thing going around in circle. We're still borrowing money, we're still in poor. No, we're God's. We're here as part of the source of being. Our Father is rich. And you don't have to look outside yourself to find them. He's within you. He's with go within. We are going around in circles because we do not understand who we are. And we're eventually to reach the peak of our experience, the peak of this worldly experience, the peak of our individuality is to manifest the source of our being, to live as the gods we are. Christ consciousness. That's the return of the Christ. Christ mean holy, set apart. Okay? And you have also been created. Listen who we are. Listen listen. This is who we are. And you have also been created to be cared for, nurtured, provided with your every need in order to ensure your health, perfect well being, and harmonious prosperity whilst on your soul's journey to individualized reunion with the source of being, divine consciousness. Yeah. This is what we're created to do. While we're on our soul journey, while we're on our soul journey, this is why we were created. We were created to be nurtured, provided with your every need in order to ensure your health, perfect well-being, and harmonious prosperity, whilst on your soul's journey. While we're on our soul journey, and what's the journey of the soul? To reunite with our divine self. To reunite with our divine self. That's why we're here. Divine consciousness, divine consciousness. So, let me just take a minute to say, what are the things that hinder us from reunited with our soul, with our divine self on this soul's journey? The main thing is indoctrination, is religion. The main thing is religion. And we came here. The Bible said we're born in sin and shaped in iniquity. This world shape us out of our divinity. And many people will hear this message and can't believe it because we were programmed in every area of this earth journey to look outside of ourselves for help, to worry about what people think of us. Nothing to take responsibility of who we are because the God within us. We rather independency. We love to depend on other people. We think some people are better than us because they're living better than us. They just understand self. They don't even know that they're tapping into their divine self. That's why they're prosperous. They do it without even knowing. Someone said we just pop in and out of dimensions without even knowing it. Those are the people that they can hear their divine self and they don't know it. That's why they prosper, because they move with it. Some they hear in their mind, get up and do something, they do it. They're not dependent on other people doing the if we want, um we can start. If you find this message today, we can start. The big thing we can start into raising our consciousness, our awareness, is to take responsibility. Don't depend on anyone to do for your wealth, for your health, other than the God within you. And and the more you're obedient, when I look at some of my videos back then, oh, I talk about this, the more you're obedient, the more that the more your higher selves keep impression in your mind, in your mind, in your mind. And the more you're being obedient, the more you you um you start evolving, you're becoming aware, and you're gonna be like, I know this wasn't me. And then no, that's how your faith start building up to believe in your higher self, to believe in your higher self. And another thing, the greatest thing that stop us from walking as we are our thoughts, is our thoughts. And I've been trying to watch my thoughts because I don't know why my thoughts are so negative. And I think that's the devil we talk about, we keep binding up and all that, that the thought is the devil, that's the thought, because your thought is all negative. Your thought, it's like they're not ours, because if I have to think, I wouldn't think about accident and sickness and all that. I wouldn't. But our thoughts are based on our programming, based on our ego, and based on what we see in television, and our traumas and all that. And that's one thing that we have to conquer it. We have to conquer these thoughts, because you know what our thoughts do? They're conscious, so they create the reality that we think about. They create that for us. So when you're thinking, this is very important. Watch your thoughts. When they are negative, think a positive thought. If you think about sickness, if your thought come about sickness, and don't think you can bind it up. You can't bind it up. Um, you can I sometimes I embrace them. You can't embrace your thought. Tell them, oh, I love you. So whatever the thought is, thought of death. Everything is energy and frequency. Tell them how much you love them and you bless them. I love you. I love you. These thoughts, and think good thoughts, because if you do not do that, if there's a book I read, I think it's called, oh, Thinking and Destiny. If you do not balance those thoughts with a good thought, it's going to manifest in this world. So that's why they program us to manifest this negative world. We wonder why our families not getting together. We're not working together. The government and the children being killed, because they program that with the television, and we manifest it. So we have so much to blame with the world that we're living in. Our goal is to let your thought think the world you want to live in. And you have to come from the knowledge that you know who you are, that the kingdom of God is within, that you are a divine being. It has to start from that knowledge. It has to start from that knowledge. Those are the things that hinder our path to ascension, to the path of coming in one, become one with our divine self. And if you read the Bible, and Solomon talk about this woman, that's what the marriage that has to take place. That's what it's talking about. That's what it's talking about. And it says, all right, let me continue. And you have also been created to be cared for, nurtured, provided with your every need in order to ensure your health, perfect well-being, and harmonious prosperity whilst on your soul's journey to individualized reunion. They tell us that this should happen when we die. We unite with our Father and our God. No, it starts here. If we don't have this knowledge about reunion with our source of being, when we die, we probably won't have that knowledge either. So yeah, whilst your soul's journey to individualized reunion with your source of being and your source of being, you're going to hear divine consciousness, universal consciousness, and you're going to hear Christ consciousness. I don't differentiate. So I see divine consciousness as the soul or individualized soul, and I see universal consciousness as Father, Mother, God, the source of all things. That's all. And Christ consciousness can also be called divine consciousness. Until you do grasp this truth of being, you will never achieve your true potential on earth, either physically or spiritually. This has to be in red. Until you grasp this truth of being, you will never achieve your true potential on earth or spiritually, physically or spiritually, until we understand the truth of being. And what is that? That your soul's journey to individualize reunion with the source of being, divine consciousness. Our journey on earth is to find our divinity, this flesh, what you see in the mirror, what you see in the makeup of, you have to get out of this world, this material. That's Paul's ministry. That's Paul's ministry. You can't talking about Paul and not understand that when he talk about the flesh, they didn't care what you want to do with the body. Stephen was being killed, and all he's looking up at the heaven, um, because you can touch the body, you can't touch the soul. And we care so much about the body. We care about the physicality and the materialistic things. It's the soul. It's that we have to know that. And it's within us. We don't have to look outside for anything. Anything. We have to have that knowledge. That's the truth of being. That's the truth of who you are. As the Bible talk about rightly dividing the word of truth. You want to understand truth? This is truth. So until you grasp this truth of being, you will never achieve your true potential on earth, either physically or spiritually. No country, religious organization, and no single person, no matter how humanly exalted he may be thought to be, will be able to alter the contents of this letter, since I, the Christ, am also radiating the truth of being. So there's an energy, there's a Christ energy coming into the realm, also radiating the truth of being worldwide to everyone who is on the level of spiritual frequencies to be able to receive the truth. Such people will receive, revere, and adopt it fully without reservation to be their own guidelines for their thoughts and actions. If there are those who cannot understand or receive the letters, it will be only because they are not yet ascend to the necessary level of consciousness to be able to empathize with them. Their growth will come later. Their growth will come later. And and this is what I mentioned earlier, that that yeah, there's no, this is the way. This is the way that I am, the truth. This is the way. When Christ said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light. Not that he, Christ, was, but the knowledge of that Christ consciousness is the only way. There's no other way. There's no other way. There's no other way. There's no other way. All it takes is for us to go within and understand who we are, and yourself will take care of it. If this message find you and you wanna take some time, and I was thinking this, I'm like, everyone should take some time and just be by themselves for a week or so and just let your higher self. I'm telling you, when you're by yourself, the phone is off, your higher self, the energy just pour into you. And then you understand who you are. Then you understand who you are. I hope one day I could have what they call it, a getaway where people could really get to understand self. And and that's what the Bible tells us, that Christ too was taken into the desert or in the wilderness after his baptism, after he come into the knowledge. He was probably asking questions like many of us. Listen, what we've been taught not making sense. What's the truth? And when you start asking those questions, then your divine self will come in and lead you and guide you. And you just have to know it's your divine self. It's not the devil. Get out the devil idea out your head. Get the sin out of your head. Don't be scared of death. I don't know why the church people scared of death like that. Death is just so you can reborn. We die daily. Sis, I like to talk. Yeah, retreat. Yes, thank you, sis. So we could have a retreat where people we're scared. We weren't taught to be by ourselves. We weren't taught to be by ourselves. We gotta be by ourselves. We've been through too much, and we have to heal. And if we don't heal, we can't. Our higher selves, our God selves, can come in and renew and restore. We have to spend some time by ourselves. We worry about what people say. We value other people's opinion, and 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 then we don't love ourselves. And listen, if we don't love ourselves, who's gonna love us? You know, look in the mirror and tell yourself how beautiful it is. Your entire body is made up of organisms that look at you as their gods. The cells, everything in your body is alive. And if you don't like yourselves, then sickness is going to come, because your cells, and you're in depression every area of your life. Your cells build up your organs. These are the things we use. It's programming. When we don't know, we don't know. These things, our mind is everything. Renew your mind. Get into the knowledge of self. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We can't love anyone. We can't care about anyone until we love ourselves, until we're in the right mind frame. And when you do that, when you go through that wilderness moment, that desert moment, if Christ didn't go through that moment, people wouldn't be worshiping him today. He just find this divine self. That's all that happened to him. And if he goes through that, we too have to go through that. We have to go in the desert and the wilderness, and to find ourselves. They said he was in there 40 days and 40 nights. I don't know. But in that, and if you read these letters, he'll tell you what he experienced. He went there so he could understand the God that he was. And so we too have to do that. We too have to do that. All right. Yeah. So, and if you're out there and you hear these letters, as Christ is saying, listen, these letters are going to go forward. You might be hearing them for the first time when the Bible says, is the truth have to go to the ends of the earth. This is the truth. Nothing else matters. No religion, no country. The energy is too powerful that's coming into the earth. Going to stop these letters from going forward. This is Christ's true ministry. This is what Christ thought. Not that he's dead to die for your sins, and that's stupidity. Oh, he died for our sins, and we're still sinning. We like to tell people, oh, we're sinners. People like to tell you, how sinful you are, but yet you're telling me that Christ died for my sins. Huh? Come on, make it make sense. Last week they said, think. Not what you were programmed, not what our grandmothers taught us. Our ancestors can't wait for us to wake up. They still, their blood, their cells running in our body today. They can't wait for us to get it. Some of us were chosen to help deliver our bloodline. Who knows how long we've been trying? Some of us was given the baton. And as we wake up, so does our children and the generation to come, and those who are still in the spiritual realm, cheering you on. Let me tell you, you don't understand what's waiting for you when you understand that um, nothing outside of you will help you, that you are the God that you're looking for. You're the God that you're praying to. You're the God that you're asking things for. Look and see the power that's within you. Christ said in this book that when he went into the desert, in the wilderness, he, he was in awe that even the stones are alive. Every area of this earth is alive. And when he was shown and look at human beings, every organism in our body is alive. Where you go, there your body go. Get in the right mind frame. Stop the pity parties. Stop looking for validation. You are God's. When David said it, right now they don't even pray that you are God's, because that word God's, my higher self stuff to tell me, listen, the word God is a misnomer. Words don't carry any power. The English language is a book of spell, is a language of spell. And let me tell you, our Creator knew this was gonna happen, that they were going to create the English language from the divine language, the Hebrew language, and give us this spell-bounding language to keep us bound. And that's why, guess what he says? No, it's not your words. Your mouth is an open sepulcher. Your mouth is an open sepulcher. It's not the words, it's your energy, it's your vibration, it's your frequency. I have to be able to feel your energy. It doesn't matter what your word says. So there's nowhere to blame. There's no one to blame. Even though we were cast out, though they give us fake history, fake religion, there's no excuse. You have a divine mind connected to the source. You're connected to the person who made everything you could ask or think. Huh? If we see that in the physical, if we see that our real father was um control everything in this world, you know how proud we would be? If in the physical we could see our father is, say, Bill Gates or whatever, and he controls the entire world and everything in the world is his. That's who our father is. That's who our Father is. There's no separate, and He's still connected to us. There's no separation. They taught that is in church. They did, but they didn't tell us that He lives within us. His entire being runs through my body. He's experiencing everything I'm experiencing. And because He gave us the individuality, He can't stop Him. He can't step in and be like, deep ministry, get, come on, you're God. He can't step in. But that divine aspect of us doesn't, is still pristine. Nothing we do affect that divine aspect of us. And nothing happened in this world. They were crying sometimes. I mean, I feel days when I'm in such a low vibration. It's like you can feel the divine aspect of yourself just looking at me like, come on, get up. You need to get up. You need to get it together. That divine aspect of us, nothing touch it. That's what Stephen saw. That's what they were trying to tell us in the Bible. They didn't care what you do to the flesh. You can't touch that aspect of us. That's the rest. And sometimes we just have to stop and think about that. That's me, an aspect of me, so divine. Nothing in this world can touch it. Nothing. Yeah. I always go back to when they stoned Stephen. He didn't care. Even when they crucified Christ. So he tell you in this letter, stop talking about my crucifixion. I couldn't wait to get out of this body. This body was a drawback. This body was pulling me down. My powers were greater than this body. So stop talking about my crucifixion. He wanted it. It's liberation when you die. Once you die, people say in Jesus' name, once you die knowing who you are, it's liberation. And yeah, and for those who's not waking up, and for those who still having a hard time um on accepting this teaching, it'll just take you longer, but you will. I'm sounding like Unc 601. If you see him on with his big cup, and I know he looks weird, listen to what he says. Same thing what Christ is telling you. You might not ready to wake up to this truth, but eventually you will. And if the church or anyone's not talking about this, that everything's they have to. They have to. Nothing can survive without this. Because Christ telling you his power, his energy is just pouring into this realm. Everybody's gonna start. I babies. I posted a video, probably 4 or 5 year old, and they're gonna get it first. And what the Bible says, the babies are gonna what's revealed, what's hidden from the wise and prudent will reveal to the babe and suckling. Hmm? The babies is teaching. He said, listen, you go to the church and tell the pastors to help you get rid of the demon. You're binding up. Online, they're binding up this ministry. Oh, you're binding up yourself. You said you're going into church. Tell pastor, help me get rid of the demon. And they don't know that God is within them. They're asking the pastor, and they don't know that the power is within them. The pastor probably don't have any power. If you check my deep ministry on Facebook, and you'll see that video. Babies, he's not even 5. I think he's 3, 4 years old. So if you hear this ministry and you hear about the truth of the God within, that you are God's, you're a divine being, well, your baby will tell you. If you don't listen to me, your grandchildren will be telling you, because the energy is coming in. Why you think they're distracting us with whatever going on in the White House? Because they want you to miss it. But our babies won't. Our young people won't. They won't. So they're gonna, it's hidden from the wise and prudent, and it will reveal to the babe and suckling. This is the truth. This is the truth. And yeah, we can't force anyone. And if you out there and you come into the knowledge, we're just here to talk about God. This, when it's time for you, you'll get it, but you have to get it, whether in this life or the next. All right. Therefore, I say to those who have not yet experienced the quality of life I have described as being yours by divine will, do not ask what is the matter with life or people or circumstances or with you. Okay, hear what Christ is saying. So if you find this ministry, um, and you haven't experienced what I'm talking about, and you can't fathom that Jesus is not going to come through the sky. You can't ever think that pastor have more power than you to drive out demons. If you find my ministry and you be like, no, the prayer warriors are better than me, the ministry. I don't have the power to do what you. I don't have God within me. I'm waiting for Christ to come down and help me. If you're there, you're there. That's okay. That's okay. So Christ is saying, therefore I say to those who have not yet experienced the quality of life I have described as being yours. And what was that quality of life? The to be cared for, to be have health. Let me just take a quick look at it. um, to be cared for, to have the best of health. Yeah, the quality. You're here. You have been created to be cared for, nurtured, provided with your every need in order to ensure your health, perfect well-being, and harmonious prosperity whilst on your soul's journey in this world. That's why you were created. You were created to have those things. So it says, therefore, I say to those who have not yet experienced the quality of life I have described as being yours by divine will. It's divine will, it's your source of being, it's from your creator. Do not ask, what is the matter with life or people or circumstances or with you? Look inside your own thought process, your own attitudes towards life, generally, your feelings towards other people and yourself, and find out what kind of thoughts and expectations you regularly indulge in. These create a powerful creative consciousness energy force, which you are emitting through the day. It will attract to you exactly what you fear and expect. Sometimes the negative creative consciousness form is deeply buried in your subconscious, implanted there many years ago due to a certain circumstances, or the negative creative consciousness impulse may have come through from a past life, from a past life. In any event, if you have been subjected to consistently, but if you, in any event, if you have been subjected to consistently bad experiences, examine your inner state of consciousness and find out what kind of negative expectations possess your subconscious. Discover also that your attitudes and discover also what are your attitudes and feelings to other people. All right? Past life, really? I know the church don't believe in reincarnation, but it's confirmed everywhere. about past life, things that happens in our past life. Is even our thoughts are things that happens in our past life. Watch your thoughts, watch your feelings towards other people. If you're struggling, if you're not receiving what Christ determines is the divine will, nurtured harmony, um, living the best life. If you're not experiencing that, Christ is saying tonight, go within, watch your thoughts. Remember, watch your thoughts and your feelings. Those are your creative power. Those are your creative power. Yeah, to be nurtured. Yeah, those are your creative power. What's your thought? What's your thoughts and your feelings? Okay, that's the only thing. Those are the things that hinder us. Whatever we're asking Christ for. Be careful what you think about deep ministry. It's not deep ministry. It's you. It's be careful you think about a family member who always listen. It's something within you why your family member always act like that with you. You know, whatever is going on inside of us projects on the outside. We have to remember that. It's not the other person's fault. And these are the things if we have, we have to go through that desert moment, that wilderness moment where we can see our true self. Examine ourselves. Examine ourselves. Okay. Are you consistently living within the harmonies of the laws of existence? Now, in this laws of existence is not the Ten Commandments. If you hear if you find this message, study the laws of existence. That's what everyone goes by. Those are the things that cause your karma. The big one, the law of cause and effect. It's the same thing. Whatever you sow, you reap. I know I said that before and someone commented, "Oh, I know people who do things and nothing." We all know that. We all know nothing ever happens to them. We don't know. That's the law of the universe. And that's when something happens, that's what they call miskarma. They have the law of karma. Please know the laws of existence. This world is built upon that. You can't go, that's divine law. That's universal law. Yeah, the Ten Commandments are not bad, but those are to help our consciousness. Those are to help us grow. But the divine law, the laws of existence, know what the laws of existence are. So, are you constantly living with the harmony of the laws of existence? Are you expressing unconditional love on every level of your life towards every single thing in your experience? Are you able to see the light of the soul within all living things? Or can you see only their ego drive and their darkness? Do you realize that for the people whom you may reject or criticize, I, the Christ, have the highest love and compassion for them all at all times? Whom you may be rejecting, I am radiating to them my unconditional love. And I think, sis, we did a reading before and it says, see everyone as the gods they are. Not only man and woman, the birds, the trees, the water. Bless everything. Bless wherever you go. Everything has a consciousness and awareness. I know in Genesis, we read that um, um, give man authority to every beast of the field. Now, you better treat that beast good. You better treat that beast good. The water, the trees, the grass, everything, all living things. There's a God aspect of them. Don't ill treat your pet. Don't ill-treat your pet. Okay, so we have to see God in everything, as Christ is saying. Those stop rejecting and criticizing people. And and we criticize because we're seeing the same thing in us inside the other person. I see it every day in me. Things I want to criticize people about. It's probably something I've been through. Go within. Go within. It's no one else's fault but ours. Bear in mind at all times that your source of being is in two states, in equilibrium and activity. I mentioned this earlier. There's an aspect of us that rest, that Sabbath. There's an aspect of us that's constantly in equilibrium, that nothing we do in this earth affect it. Nothing. So when the rules people make up on earth and be like, oh, this, whatever, there's an aspect of us, nothing. It's just divine. The activity aspect of us is this individualized aspect of us that's in this world, our ego, this materialist. It's just this aspect of us. And sometimes we need to just breathe and find that rest. Just sit down for a moment and take some deep breath. When you're running to and fro, and close your eyes and take some deep breath, you will find that divine self. That's why Bible say prayer and meditation, not just prayer. Prayer and meditation. We need some quiet time sometimes. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Day represents a period of time where we just sit down and connect with that divine aspect of ourselves. Get out of the hustle and the bustle and just rest and let the higher self do the thinking and show you and calm you down and give you a love that passes all understanding. Yeah. Bear in mind at all times that the source of being is in two states, in equilibrium and activity. The active states of your source of being is the dimension in which you have been conceived and given individualization. So this is the dimension, the earthly dimension. Some says it's the second or the third dimension. I'm not sure. I think Christ let us said it's the second dimension. I think it's the third, either the second dimension or the third. And how many dimensions we have? The verdict is still out on that because I've seen up to 12 or 15. Just imagine which dimension Christ is on. That's why he says, listen, I can't come back to earth. There's no body on this earth that can hold my power, my energy. So he can't come back to earth. So don't look for him coming physically. He's so powerful that he's coming in your mind. He's coming in your thoughts. That's where Christ is coming. Feel him. Let him in. Don't block him. All right. Okay, so the active state is this dimension that we were conceived in and given our individualization, and we were given our individualization by our mother and our father. And that's what they gave us our ego. That's why your ego will never die. It just has to be subdued. The equilibrium of universal consciousness is the dimension of perfect silence and stillness in which the underlying impulses of creativity are locked together in an embrace of mutual restraint. There's an aspect of us, the God part of us, is in this equilibrium. Understand who we are. If this is in you, why are you looking outside of of yourself or other people to do stuff for you. Let me hear what's this saying. Yes, sis. Yes, yes. We read it together. Yeah. So when you fully realize, accept, understand that in every no, the equilibrium of universal consciousness is in the dimension of perfect silence and stillness. That's the rest. That's the rest in which the underlying impulses of creativity are locked together in an embrace of mutual restraint. So when you read these letters, you what they tell you who God is goes out the door because that inner equilibrium. And if you read, you could read the Christ letters and tell you how creation was started. Scientists call it the Big Bang, um, but it's just an eruption taking place. And Father, Mother, God, uh, electricity and magnetism. That's the core. That's the core. That's the God. That's the source. And scientists is finding it out that the deeper you go within us, the deeper you find that rest. That rest. So that power, the power that creates this earth, is within us, resting in total equilibrium. So you don't think some energy from that is radiating out to us? How many times we have totally ignored it? And I have to give some people credit. Sometimes people have tapped into it. Oh, my mind told me. The spirit told me. That's when you tap into it. And listen, it doesn't take an hour in prayer to tap into it. You could pray for a second. Because remember the Bible said day is like 1,000 years, and for us it's like 1,000 years for Christ. So a minute for us, I'm not going to do the math. Is a minute for us is probably a day to God. A minute for us is probably a day to God. So if you're praying and your mind is not settled, you're all over the world. If you're praying or meditating, let me not saying just praying or meditation and you can't focus your mind, and you fight with everything to focus your mind, even for a second. If 1 minute is probably a day, a second is probably um half a, I'm not doing the math. I'm just saying we look at it as a second, but to God it probably could be 20 minutes. So it's not the amount of time we spend in meditation. It's not the amount of time we spend in prayer. It's the connection. It's the connection to our God self, to that equilibrium, to that energy coming from the power of that stillness. Yeah. Yeah. So we have to be mindful that, yeah, when we pray, we're praying to ourselves. When we worship, we're worshiping ourselves. And if I say, "Oh, I am the best," people say, "Oh, you're too full of yourself," you know. But we're praying to ourselves. We're worshiping ourselves. No one else. Okay. What time is it? 9:15. Okay. When you fully realize, accept, understand that in every learning session in your school on earth, and have we ever think about that we're in a school? When you fully realize, accept, understand that in every learning session in your school on earth, you always have access to the divine love and intelligence, which resolves every problem the perfect way. You are then lifted beyond the reach of panic and pain. You solve your problem swiftly and smoothly and realize that your own store of wisdom and knowledge are being increased in many ways. In this way, do you evolve to every level of your being. We have to. Um, I know Doris Cannon did say that we're in a school, but I don't know if it's school, um, as we know it. But it feels, and let me tell you, things happen on the micro level, and it's part of the macro because they could build their schools and colleges like the way the earth really is. We never thought about that. Um, the more you're smart, the more you go to another level. You keep going and going to a higher level. Though you have to pass one grade to get to another level. We It's probably, I think I did a video on this. It really came to me before that. We probably, um, that's what's really happening. We have to get higher and higher because I think one of the law of the universe, you have to create. You can't stay at one level. You have to create. You can't sit down and do nothing. That's not productive. And they tell us to wait on God for what? The more you move, the more God puts into you, the more your mind, and listen, it's not physical, it can be physical, but your mind has to be working to create. Not, oh, I'm going to sit here and wait on God to do this and to do that. I shared a story. Yeah, you need a new job. God show you that you have to leave a job. Okay, it's time for you to work. Now you do the work. Okay, I'm feeling that I have to leave the job. Let me start applying. Let me start um, filling out application by yourself. Father, Mother, God. I use Father, Mother, God, Father, Mother, life. You can say life, Father, Mother, life, Father, Mother, divine life, divine consciousness, universal consciousness. Those are the words that we can use. When you say, um, whatever you want to say. But words doesn't matter. It's the energy. You just have to have knowledge of what you're talking about. Not the God of wrath and vengeance that you read in the Bible. No, that's not him. You know. So we used guide me in my search. Ask every minute of the day. Guide, lead, Father, Mother, life. How do I do this? Where do I go? Send me my husband. Help my family. Father, Mother, not ask them to help you. Get in the thought. How do I? Even Christ. Christ. How do I? You can say Jesus if you want, but you just have to have the knowledge of what you're talking about. You have to say Jesus, not the one who, not to serve him, not to worship him. It's to guide you and to lead you. Christ, I'm in meditation and I can call him. I just put in my mind, Christ, help me to calm my mind down so I could meditate. And immediately ask my higher self, I could say higher self, divine life, help me to meditate. We get into we were taught to beg and beg and beg. Oh, Jesus, do this. No, you are God's. You're here for a school. You got to pass. And you can't pass by your words. You got to pass by your energy and your vibration and your frequency. Ask them to show you and lead you into the right path. And the more that happens, the more your faith increases because you are probably chosen to raise your family's vibration. So you have to know you can't do it for anyone. Everyone has to do it for themselves. And that's why our prayer is not answered, because we're asking Jesus to do this. Jesus, help me. Help you for what? The same power in Jesus is the same power within you. We're in a dimension so low that we forgot who we are. So we don't want to stay here. Keep coming back here. Ask for help. Don't mention your guides. We have guides. You call them angels. We have guides. We have our higher selves. We have universal consciousness, our creator, the source. We have Christ, and Christ is the anointed one. It's those people and it's not just only Jesus. Muhammad is a Christ. Um, Buddha and all them. These are people who become Christ consciousness, overcome flesh in this world. You have a lot more of them. I can't even I can't even I don't remember them all. Saint Germain and all them. There's a lot of people. Ask for help. Ask, 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 ask. You have not because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. And you're asking for someone to do it to you. Show me the direction. How do I? How can I? I give it to my higher self. I give this pain to my higher selves. That's the one I use a lot. I give it to my higher self. You know, we have to stop the begging and the begging. How do I? I give it to my higher self. And when you give it, you give it. Your stomach, you come. I give it to my higher self. My headache's coming on. I give it to my higher self. I give it to my higher self. You could say, Father, how do I get rid of this pain? What do I use for this toothache? Sometimes it's like that. And you feel it imprint on in your mind. And when it imprints on your mind, don't worry about it. You won't forget it. You won't forget it. And be obedient, please. Please be obedient. If this message finds you, obedience is better than sacrifice. If something imprints on your mind, get up and go outside. Do it. No, I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. Because you don't know why. Get up and go outside. Get up and go walk. Get up. Cook, put on that red dress today. Put on this black shoes today. Go cook some chicken. No, cook some oxtails today. No, cook some soup today. I was disobedient because I know I was supposed to cook some soup today and I didn't. I didn't cook some soup today. No, obedience. The more you're obedient, the more you get what Christ called it right here. You tap into your divinity, really. You tap into your divinity. You're being obedient. Please be obedient. It doesn't matter what it is. That's why the Bible says obedience is that it doesn't matter what, you have to be obedient to your higher self. That's to your God, to the Lord. To the Lord. You have to be. That's the Lord. You are the Lord. The aspect of you that is the Lord. Be obedient. Okay. Um, just let me read this one more time. I know we only have like 13 pages left in this chapter, but it's the end. All of it is good. All of it is good. So, when you fully realize, accept, understand that in every learning, see, okay, that's in every learning session in your school on earth, you always have access to the divine love and intelligence, which resolves every problem the perfect way. You are then lifted beyond the reach of panic and pain. You solve your problems swiftly and smoothly and realize that your own store of wisdom and knowledge are being increased in many ways. And then I'll see you on YouTube and everybody's and everywhere spreading this knowledge, because when you get this knowledge, you can't keep it to yourself. You can't. It's like it's we have to our goal is to wake everyone up. Whilst my purpose in coming to you through medium of these letters has been to show you the way to live in harmony with the laws of existence, to help you avoid unnecessary pain, limitations, and deprivation caused by your ignorance to the laws. Mm. For a lack of knowledge, my people perish, right? Mhm. Ignorance of the laws. I also want to imprint in your consciousness that everyone is subject to the rhythms in their lives. Everyone goes through the high periods when an inflow of blessedness when an inflow of blessedness brings you all the things you have wanted, and you are on a peak of human happiness and success, you rejoice. Then comes the time when suddenly the rhythm of life changes. Resources dry up, relationships become difficult and precarious. Your care your career takes a downward turn, or obstacles occur which keep you static for a long time. You may ask yourself what you have done wrong. Previously, you looked very successful within the laws of existence, but now there are daily challenges, and nothing you think or do is truly alleviating the stress of daily life. And that the law of rhythm is also one of the laws of existence. Please read the laws of, understand the laws of existence. And that's associated in the Bible with there's a time for everything. There's rhythms in our lives. It's natural. It's not the devil. It's not obia. It's not voodoo. It's just that sometimes where it's just you whatever is happening in the universe happens to you. You're affected by everything happens in the universe. Please remember that. Even if it weren't taught, the things not taught in church, like the equinoxes, the spring equinox, the summer equinox, um, eclipses, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. We are connected. They let us to think that we're separated from the universe. We are not. That's why everything is in rhythm. So I remember growing up, people were like, "Oh, my knee hurts, it's gonna rain." Everything affects us. Well, our body is like 70% or 90% water. We have to know that. So we go through highs and lows. It's not nice though, but it's part of life. It's part of life. Okay. When, if these times comes upon you, be still and quiet within your heart and mind, and know that you are still drawing life and direction from the divine consciousness, despite appearances of the contrary, despite the superficial agonies. At these times, it is essential to withdraw and take stock of the ways in which you may have slipped in consciousness during your up times, and strengthen your dependence on divine consciousness. Without these dark periods of depression, you would not grow in spiritual stature. They have a special message for you, so do not give way to despair or bitterness. Although you may feel fragile, this is your winter season of self discovery and inner renewal, which will ultimately prove to be greater blessing than ever were your peak periods. Take heart and do not lose faith. Hold on patiently. Hold on patiently until winter gradually heals to your spiritual spring again. Persevere in relaxing and confidently waiting for the time when divine life will again flow into your mind, heart, and earthly life, and all you had hoped for will begin to manifest in your experience. And throughout this time, realize and hold on to the fact that if you are no longer aware of the inflow of divine consciousness during your meditations, it is not because you have been abandoned, but and therefore because your own cosmic and therefore your personal consciousness vibrations are at a low ebb, and you are not no long and you ebb and you are no longer able to rise to experience the vibrations of divine consciousness as you previously did. Although you may not feel them, rest assured that always you are enfolded in them and in divine love. And I'm going to stop here today. Um, I'm not in a rush to finish these letters. And this has been very, 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 very educational, and it it has these letters really as just feel a flow into my spirit every time I read these letters. And yeah, remember your low times. We are never forgetting, as the Bible, as it always says, nothing can separate us from the love of God. Um, it's not easy to be in high vibration, high consciousness, high energy all the time. But remember, the low times come, we learn from them. It's not the devil, please. It's not the devil. If you have a mindset that I am responsible in every situation, go within. It's our programming, and it's hard to blame people because we have been programmed to look outside of us, to blame, not take responsibility. But as we learned tonight that we are the gods, and um, we're not separated from the source of our being, from our creator, from the source of creation. We're not separated. And it's flowing always. It says, behold, I stand at the door knocking. He stands at the door knocking our higher selves in our mind, not outside of us, always there, knocking. Get out of this world, get out of this materialistic, get out of self. Hear me. And the more you withdraw from, and that's this is one thing I have to give the church props for. It helps you to withdraw from the material world, make you understand that the world uh is just what it is, but we have to work on self. We have to work on the ego, the flesh, the me. We have to work on those things. And the more those things decrease, the more the spiritual aspect of us increase, our faith increase, for our divine Father, Mother life. When it's imprinting on our mind, we know we can hear it, we can be obedient, or and that increase our faith, that increase solidify that yes, we are the power, the kingdom of God is within. Yes, God lives within me. Yes. And let me tell you, once you come in contact with that, nothing else matters, because now you understand who God is, not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's their story of who they know, who God is. What is your story? We have to leave a legacy for our children of who we think God is. Because what we read in the Bible about that God is nothing that is not the God I know, the God that's within you, within me. Huh? I don't see no vengeance. Mm? If that God is constantly in equilibrium. This world have no effect on that God. So when someone tell you God is gonna do this to you, no, God is just being God, if you want to say. That's it. It just be. And when you're ready, you come and it's just spreading good energy. You want sometimes you reject it, sometimes some will come forward, sometimes you pray and you'll tap into that divinity and you'll healed and you'll be blessed. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter if I change, it doesn't change. It's the source of creation and it's in me and it's part of me. And we have to know that. All right. I am thankful for everyone who joined today. Thank you, sis. Thanks for everything. Thank you. And Father, Mother God, Father, Mother Life, Divine Life. I thank you tonight. I thank you for my listeners. I thank you for my will be listeners, my future listeners. I am thankful for these letters. I don't know how I came on them, but I'm thankful. And I know if anyone listened to these letters, we probably put them in our path to wake us up to our divine self. And I am so thankful. Thank you tonight. Thank you as we go through our night, wherever this message find us, wherever we are in our spiritual journey too. I pray for strength. I pray for direction always, always. And guide into coming to the truth of our being, the truth of existence. So I am so thankful and grateful for also this ministry, this platform. We don't know what role we play, but we're just doing what comes natural to us, what I feel embedded in my spirit to do. I'm just trying to follow. And pray that I don't do nothing of self, but help me to be always guided by my divine self, by my higher selves. And I am thankful tonight. Thanks for families. Thanks for blessings. Thank you for your divine will of abundance, of nature, of healing, everything you have provided for us for this earthly experience. I am thankful, even at times where we're not aware of it, but we're thankful for it. We thank you. Thank you, Father, Mother Life. We give you honor and we praise. Well, it said not to praise, but we're thankful and we're grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, sis. Have a wonderful night. Okay. Yes, yes. Blessings, blessings. And thanks for everyone who joined me on Facebook. I can't go live on TikTok anymore, but that's okay. Facebook and also YouTube. Thank you. Blessings all to you all.